Hey everybody, what's going on? So the DOJ has now requested some information to big banks like Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs because of something not really, across the line, something shitty they used to do. And if that's the case, then that is a big game changer when it comes to how AMC has been shorted and potentially can lead to some big spike into the share price if these things actually is accurate, because as I mentioned, it could be a game changer. So what exactly am I talking about? Well, this came out 2 hours ago, and this is from Business Insider. The big Wall Street banks get subpoenaed in SEC probe into whether they gave hedge funds a heads up about block shares sale. If you don't know what the block share is, it's actually a way for two big institutions or two parties in the market into making a big deal without affecting the share price. This is the definition Investopedia gives. A block trade is a large privately negotiated securities transaction. Block trades are arranged away from the public markets to lessen the effect of the securities price. They are usually carried out by hedge funds and institutional investors via investment banks and other intermediaries. Through high net worth accredited investors may also be eligible to participate. So this is a big deal on how companies usually are trying to make either buying block trade of shares or selling. All right. So let's just say you have 10,000 shares of something you want to buy. It doesn't matter which stock that is. All right. So 10,000, let's just say 10,000 shares of Amazon, for example. That's a huge amount of money. So if you were to sell those shares on the public market, then the share price will be definitely affected. So usually they work with hedge funds or other big banks in order to identify another party, another bank, another big institutional investor, maybe a big insurance that will be willing to buy those shares and then decide the price, kind of a OTC, over the counter. All right, I'm going to call, Bank of America because I'm Morgan Stanley, and I'm going to negotiate the price of buying X amount of shares of XYZ company so that the market price will not be as affected. Usually that goes through dog pools, but sometime last year it didn't go through dog pools, and it created a major issues for some of the shares around Viacom, CBS, and Discovery, because they tumbled around 27% each on that particular Friday because of a number of large block trades on Friday, which investors said caused big drops in the stock of a clutch of companies. And that raised a speculation about who was behind it. Was it Goldman Sachs? Again, the same name coming over and over. And that what actually caused the whole triggering and the falling per se of the Archegos scandal, if you see what I mean. So going back to exactly this thing, the DOJ is now investigating whether Wall Street banks let hedge funds know about the big share sales, because if that's the case, then it is not what is supposed to happen. Then we have a problem. We have a major problem. And what might come out of this, it's actually something that already was triggered and initiated around making sure we have a lot more visibility on what is happening behind and inside the dark pools, especially when it comes to the block trade. Because the issue here is, if these banks knew that we have a big client or a big sale going to happen, then they will be able to actually take advantage of that one way or another, because they are the banks. So pretty much everything will go through them because they also have access and are the big players of these dark pools, all right, or these ATS platforms. Now, how does this affect AMC and the whole market in general, but AMC specifically? Well, the thing is, the SEC sent these subpoenas to the firms and seeking trading records and information on communication between investors and the banks, and the regulators are investigating if the funds benefited from the bank's share sale alerts. Well, remember when AMC used to be dropping, maybe 10, 8% on no news, on no apparent reason, and why the share price have been tanking since the last, 2-3 months without any specific news behind it, or any retail investors selling? Well, it's because these big players within the dark pools are able to pass it to each other, and each time selling it to a price that will be prefer to the buyer at a discount per se. All right, why would I buy at 10 on the market if I can buy at 8 or 9? And then that's how, they are able to manipulate the share price through these big block trades. So it's a big issue here, because in case there is something to be addressed on this, especially with the whole transparency new regulations that are supposed to go into effect by the end of this month or early March, then boom, you don't have anymore one of the biggest issue that will prevent the share price from doing what it's supposed to do when people keep buying and holding these stocks in millions. All right. And that's precisely why this whole thing could actually lead to a game changer into how this share price of AMC is moving. So let's just see exactly how things go. But for now, this is what is happening. It could be big.